Hello, my name is Holly, and welcome to the first of many book talks that I will be doing for the Kalmar Public Library. Most of the books I will be discussing will be from our young adult collection. This is because young adult is probably my favorite thing to read ever. Young adult is just probably the most exciting area of books. They are amazing, they're diverse, they're inclusive, and the stories are absolutely incredible. And just because it says they're written for young adult doesn't mean that those are the only people who can read them, because I am long past my young adult years, but I still absolutely adore the stories and the characters that I find within the pages of these books. They told us to wait and stay alive. Something way out in the white dark, between the trees, moving where the thickets swarm. You can see it from the roof, the way the brush bends around it as it rustles to the ocean. That size, it must be a coyote, one of the big ones, hitting shoulder high. Teeth that fit like knives in the palm of my hand. I know because I found one once, the end of it just poking through the fence. Took it back and hid it under my bed. One more crash through the brush, and then the stillness again. Across the roof deck, Byatt lowers her gun, rests it on the railing. Road clear. I keep mine up just in case. Keep the sight raised to my left eye. My other eye's dead. Gone dark in a flare-up. Lid fused shut. Something growing underneath. The first book that I'm going to be talking about with my book talks is none other than Rory Power's debut novel, Wilder Girls. Now, this is a standalone, so you don't have to worry about getting invested in a series or waiting for the next book to come out. This is it. It's all encompassed in this one novel, and it is just an absolute powerhouse. And before I even start talking about what's inside these pages, I want to take a moment. One of my favorite things about books are book covers, and this cover is insanely gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm the person who will absolutely cover buy, and that's okay. In fact, I have my own copy sitting right up there. That's how much I love this book. And I promise you that the inside of this book is just as good as what's on the outside. My favorite thing about this book is how it is such a cutting, brutal, honest, open kind of exploration about what it's like to grow up in a female body. Like, how female bodies in particular change and grow over time, and how those changes can be sometimes a little gross and terrifying and also a little bit monstrous. And the way that Power frames that transitionary time in a girl's life through the Talks, which is an illness afflicting all of the girls in this book who are at a boarding school on an island far away from anyone else, was probably the most brilliant decision I have seen in a book in a long time. So all of these girls go through horrific changes, things like pussy eyes and scales and bones that like poke out of your skin and eyeballs that have things growing inside them. So it's can be a little bit gory and it's a little bit gross. It's actually, dare I say, perfect. And it's just makes me think a lot about the changes that girls' bodies go through that we are largely conditioned to either not talk about at all or to kind of treat like they're secret, even though they are really not. So yes, that is what is happening to our main characters. There are three of them. They are Hetty, Reese, and Byatt. And these girls, oh my god, this just, it's one of my favorite ensemble casts. She doesn't make any of her characters perfect, like, at all. And she doesn't glaze over the fact that these are teenagers, and teenagers can be very cruel both to themselves and to one another. All of these girls are absolutely vicious. They are jaded, and they are terrified and confused. They don't know what's going on. Their bodies are doing these disgusting, horrific things. The adults on the island are all succumbing to this virus. Through all of this, my favorite thing is that even though everything is just not going very well, is that there's still hope. So these kids have to grow up, and they have to grow up really fast, again, because the adults in their lives are just not capable of being what you would hope adults could be for kids. But at the same time, how much trust should you be giving them? And I think that's another really important question that Power brings up in Wilder Girls. It reminds us of how strong you can be and how particularly you can be as a teenager, even if you don't think you're that strong. I love that this book kind of drops you into this world and it's already happened. Like, the talks has started and you have to figure out what's going on at the exact same time that all of the characters are. And it punts you out on the last page just as abruptly as it drops you in. There's very strong opinions about how this book ends. Or you really loved it or you really didn't love it. I loved how this book ended. You probably might not get the answers you're hoping for. And honestly, that's okay, because a lot of the times the answers that you will get, not just in books but also in life, can be unsatisfying. And I think this book does a really good job of reminding us of that. So yeah, that is all I have to say. I will be back with more book talks for wonderful, incredible young adult titles that we have here at the Kalmar Public Library, and yay books!
See how a body will change to give you the best chance it can.